Top 5 fits for DJU. And ride with me here on this first one, guys. I don't think it's a possibility. But Max Garner, you know Max Smoak, former Baylor pitcher, put this out on Twitter yesterday, and so I'm stealing it. So, Max, I hope you see this, and I'm crediting you. But he said would like to see DJU in the wide zone. So, number 5, Baylor. And the more I thought about it, and I thought about Gary Bohannon and how that offense maximized him for a year, DJU is a much more talented player. No offense to Gary, but the dude was the number 1 player in the country for a reason, a better passer, and I think this offense maybe puts a little less on him than what they're doing at Clemson. I mean, it would work. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, he could hit the deep ball. I worry a bit more about what he does underneath, and that would be a bit problematic. He's also not enough of enough. I mean, I guess he'd be effective enough compared to what they've had to run well enough to do some damage. I mean, they're not asking their quarterback to be Tommy Frazier, but you'd like to have some action out of the quarterback run game. And quite frankly, with Blake Shapen, sometimes it's like watching a dude run in slow motion and then take a big hit at the very end of it. So, yeah, I mean, I think he could probably enhance their run game a bit. Deep ball-wise, I mean, Shapen throws a pretty good deep ball, so I don't know how much, better or more you would see there. But DJ does have some flaw in his games where some of those, intermediates, I need him to be a lot more effective there on some of those throws. But yeah, I mean, a superb, talent. And I think like everybody's just written him off. And, there's, how about Bo Nix?
Yeah.
What were we saying about Bo Nix in the portal last year? Like, I don't know how much clamoring there was for him, and there certainly wasn't a lot of people going like, wow, he's going to go to Oregon and kill it. There were a lot of people like,
did you watch him at Auburn? Like, that's what it was.
And so, I mean, he's an example, and I'm sure there are many others. He's just the one that comes to mind because he's probably the most glowing case of it. But I think DJU's got a lot untapped, and I think that, the problems were certainly on him to an extent, but also on those who are coaching him and around him. And so I think he's a guy who, maybe he is who he is, and he's shown us the best that he can show us, but I don't necessarily believe that. And I think the right fit with a head coach and team could really bring a lot out of him that maybe people have already written off. But that's just me. So, yeah, I mean, I think Baylor could do that for him. I think that they could absolutely do that for him.
Yeah. Number 4, Texas A&M. Again, I think Connor Wigman's their guy. I don't really think they're going to do this. They do need to be more active in the portal than they have been in the past. But especially with, all the guys that are losing to it, getting veterans on that team would be a good thing. But he does remind me a little bit of E.J. Manuel, a big guy with a big arm who is pretty darn good, but not quite good enough. And E.J. Manuel wound up being a first-round pick. And Jimbo Fisher coached E.J. Manuel. Now, I know that the offense is going to be different, but I doubt it's going to be too wildly different than what Jimbo really wants to run and the philosophy he believes in recruiting players to. So I do think Jimbo Fisher could work or that DJU could work in a new system that's kind of like that because Jimbo did he got E.J. Manuel to the first round. So, which he really probably shouldn't have been based on his NFL career.
Christian Ponder, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. He really had the NFL scouts fooled, didn't he, for a little while with quarterback FSU. Winston was lived up to most of it, but yeah. I think A&M's got to be in the market for a quarterback. I don't think we saw enough from Connor Wegman to believe that he's won the job and is the guy until he's not the guy any longer. I certainly would be interested if I was A&M and bringing in a veteran guy or somebody who's played a lot of snaps and still has a bit of time left. So where if they earn the job, that was what I was talking about. We were doing the quarterback thing the other day, and I was like, well, it depends on what you're looking for. And it's not only depends on what you're looking for in terms of the offense, do you want a dual threat or do you want a guy who's a strong passer? But it's also do you want a 1-year guy or do you want a 3-year guy if you could get him, right? Mm-hmm. So Spencer Sanders to me, if I'm a program that I just need a guy for this year and get me through, give me Spencer Sanders.
Yeah.
But if I want a guy for the next 2 years, then give me Drake May or someone like that, of course. But for A&M, I think anything's on the table. But yeah, certainly you feel good about Weigman and a little bit of what you saw, but I don't think it was enough to believe that you could, bypass a DJU or a Sanders or someone like that in the portal if you've got an opportunity.
Yeah. Number 3, UCLA. This one, I mean, he's not nearly as fast as DTR is, but
he's not a great let's not make him out to be a great runner.
No,
or
but
anything like that. Yeah.
I think he's an effective runner. Like he's not
Right.
he's not lumbering and slow necessarily, but he's a big guy who can move around and he can get you first downs. That's what you need from your quarterback. Get you first downs. So maybe not in that regard, but I do think that offense is kind of a fit for what they want him to do. And Chip Kelly, a proven guy with quarterbacks, especially guys who are, maybe, not the 5-star talents, but not the full skill set right away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying from a running standpoint that he's not like Michael Vick out there.
No, he's not.
He's
Where
more
is he
like
from?
McNabb.
Where is he actually from?
He's from Hawaii, but
Okay, well then I was at UCLA.
But he, and look, I'll get to the next two, which will make
He's
probably
California
more sense.
guy, actually.
California, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
I think UCLA's in the market for whoever's a suitable quarterback with DTR out the door. I think that they're going to end up on every, hey, is this quarterback pretty good? Chip Kelly could probably turn them into something better than they are. And so that, applies to him. I think that would be a fit. I mean, he's a California guy, I could mention. It's, again, a change of scenery, man. I really maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he goes and plays with Chip Kelly and Chip Kelly's like, I can't fix him, or maybe that's possible. But I just think that there is a lot of talent untapped there. And I do think that if you're looking for somebody to bring that out, then Chip Kelly would be a great, person to start with.
I say Hawaii because when I was this summer, I talked to a bunch of guys who were asking about him, but he's Polynesian. So everybody there they're very warm and loving of their own.
There are ties.
Yeah. Number 2, Oregon. This was the place he wanted to go first. I mean, everybody thought he was going to go there before he went to Clemson. Mario Cristobal was the coach there then. I don't think he benefits by going to Miami. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me given what Miami has at their disposal, but, I would think he'd want to continue winning sooner rather than later. I think Miami's still got a little ways to go there as far as building the whole roster.
Of the 4 teams you've mentioned, who has a head coach that's a quarterback whisperer?
I mean, there's Chip
UCLA,
Kelly does.
Chip Kelly
does. Chip Kelly does, and Jimbo Fisher used to be.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much recently. But Oregon, they just hired Willie Stein as their offensive coordinator. So Kenny Dillingham is gone, which we'll talk about in just one second. But, I mean, this is where he kind of wanted to go in the first place. Before he went to Clemson. He was really leaning strong to Oregon, so that's why I think he might go there, and they're going to lose Bo Nix, so we'll see.
I mean, there's another West Coast team. Does Bo Nix have a chance to come back? Are we positive about him going out of the way? I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head on that, but because again, these eligibility things are so tremendously gray compared to how black and white they were at one point in time. We're just like, you've got this many years and you're done, and now it's not quite like that with the COVID year. But I mean, Oregon seems like a fit for a West Coast quarterback that can sling the ball around. Yeah, absolutely. And certainly if Nix is out the door, then they're going to be looking. I want to clarify. I don't know what the quarterback rooms are like for most of these, like as far as the young guys and who they're, who's the up and comer. Like, the other day I was asking a West Virginia guy about, who's coming up next, and he's like, Nico Martial, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or Martial. He's the young up and comer. Like, but you're getting rid of JT Daniels for a guy that may or may not be the second coming. He's like, he's the highest rated recruit, and I'm like, that's cool, but what has he proven? So maybe some of these schools view their young guy as like that same way, but I don't know. I think you'd rather have a veteran if you can get a guy like DJ who's played in a lot of big games.
Yeah. Number 1, Arizona State with Kenny Dillingham. This guy is, right now, as the quarterback whisperers go, he's hot. We talked about Bo Nix a second ago, and that's the guy who recitated Bo Nix's college career what he found in Bo Nix was, here's a guy that in crunch time can put together some amazing runs. So how do we take the fourth quarter in Bo Nix in these close games and expand it out to the entire game? And he did it. Most every game this year, Bo Nix was excellent. Excellent. Even in a couple of games that they lost, he was still pretty darn good. So that's why, I think this is a pretty good fit for him. And you won't be, this is Arizona State and Miami kind of in the same boat of like, you might not win right away, but if you're looking to get, a boost in your skills, Kenny Dillingham, I think, has kind of shown that already.
Yeah, Bo Nix can come back. I just
Okay.
double checked on that. I thought so, but he can if he wants to. But I know that there's some out there that believe he's going to, have his NFL opportunities. So that'll be interesting to see. Probably after the bowl game wraps up, what he ends up deciding. But Kenny Dillingham's already injected some juice into the Sun Devils program. Seeing a lot more of their mentions on Twitter, and I'm not exactly going and seeking them out, but I'm seeing like even some recruited guys, that are retweeting stuff and graphics and things or offers that are going out. And so, I could see DJU. I'm not sure, any connections on that off the top of my head either, but Kenny Dillingham and that Oregon offense is, showing what it can do. So I'm sure that will be a great landing spot for whoever we're talking about as far as transfer quarterbacks go. I would imagine that, somebody's ending up in Arizona State with Kenny Dillingham, and that'll be fun to watch.
Is that it, Paul?
Yep.
We've had that off the radar. We've had
And by the way, they just had the BYU